As a foreigner, one of the main requirements for you to work in Vietnam is a work permit. Obtaining a Vietnamese work permit is neither straightforward nor quick. If you are chanced to secure a job in Vietnam, then you will be faced with the need for a work permit. Now, Premia TNC will share about application for a Vietnamese work permit with following agenda. 1. Who is eligible for a Vietnamese work permit? 2. How to get a Vietnamese work permit? 3. Required documents to apply for work permit? 4. Duration of a work permit. 5. Frequently asked questions. Who is eligible for a Vietnamese work permit? Anyone can qualify for a Vietnamese work permit provided you meet the requirements. Amongst the criteria to qualify for a work permit in Vietnam include: you should be 18 or over. You have no criminal prior or charges. You have a job offer in Vietnam. You are academically qualified for your intended job. You must be verified by the parent company about your working experience. You must meet the health conditions to work and have a medical health certificate. Additionally, the company offering you the job may be required to prove that there were no Vietnamese available to fill the position. Once you can meet all the above listed qualifications, then you are eligible for a Vietnam work permit. How can I get a Vietnamese work permit? The main thing you will need to know as regards a work permit in Vietnam is that the Labor, War Invalids, and Social Affairs Department is in charge. Your employer is usually the one who will handle the process of getting the work permit. 3 major steps are involved in getting a work permit in Vietnam, which are: Step 1. The approval of demand for using foreign workers. Because the entire process will need to be completed before you can work in Vietnam, this step needs to be done a month in advance. This step will require simple documents like your employer's business registration certificates. There is a registration form that will be filled out and submitted along with the other required documents. The estimated time for approval of demand for using foreign workers is around 15 working days. Step 2. Collecting documents needed for a work permit. A work permit will require you to have certain documents, and you will need to make sure your employer has these documents when the time comes. Step 3. Submitting the application along with the necessary documents. Labor, War Invalids, and Social Affairs Department is the agency that issues work permits for foreigners. It is where the documents will be submitted and a work permit issued. The process should be started at least 15 working days before the resumption date of your net job. Where all conditions are met and all documents accounted for, you can get a work permit in 5 working days, and you are set to work in Vietnam. Applying for the Vietnamese work permit. One thing you need to know when it comes to a Vietnam work permit is that not every foreigner will need one. The work permit will strictly apply to those who intend to work in the country for longer than a month. Other factors will determine whether you need a work permit or not, and you can see them all under Labor Code. Premia TNC can provide help if you still require further assistance when it comes to applying for a Vietnam work visa. You can schedule a consultation to ensure you can obtain a Vietnam work permit with relative ease. Which documents do you need for a Vietnamese work permit? Applying for a work permit will require certain documents as stated earlier, but some of the documents you need will be determined by your job. Some general documents will be required for a Vietnamese work permit. As the employer will be responsible for applying for the work permit, you will need to ensure that you provide them with at least a copy of the following documents: a health certificate issued no more than 12 months before the application. A certificate showing that you have no criminal record in your home country with a certificate dated no more than 6 months prior. Documents showing your professional background. Copies of your academic qualifications. A photo taken no more than 6 months before the application. The photo will need to have a white background and have 4 cm by 6 cm dimensions. You are also not expected to wear any headgear or glasses in the photo. If factors like religion prompt you to wear a headgear in the photo, then you must be wearing it upon your arrival as well. Additionally, your employer will also need to submit some documents like the approval of demand for using foreign workers, business registration certificate, the employee's working agreement/contract, work permit application form. If all the documents are present and meet the approved standards, then your work permit application should be straightforward. It is also important to note that all documents being submitted will need to be in Vietnamese as opposed to English or the language of your country. You can have the documents translated at the Vietnam Notary Service or Justice Division of a District People's Committee branch if necessary. What is the duration of a Vietnamese work permit? The maximum duration a work permit can have in Vietnam is 2 years, but it can be renewed if you still wish to continue working in Vietnam. If you wish to continue working uninterrupted, then ensure you file for a renewal at least 5 days before your current permit expires. Any renewal must be done when there is less than 4 to 5 left on the current work permit. FAQ 1. How many times can you extend a Vietnam work permit? You are only allowed one extension on a Vietnamese work permit. Once the extension is up, you will be required to apply for a new work permit if you intend to continue working in Vietnam. 2. Is it compulsory to have a university degree when applying for a Vietnamese work permit? A university or college degree is often required when applying for a work permit in Vietnam, but not in all cases. Experts in their field or technical workers do not need a college or university degree when applying for a Vietnamese work permit. Thank you.